we've all heard the saying that our child needs us to share their calm. What if you don't have any? My name's Jodie Thornton, and I want to talk about this concept of sharing calm when your child is tantruming, and how this can really set us up to fail, really. So first I want to talk about how the reason you're getting upset is because in front of you have a child that you care very much about who is in distress, right? And so when we think about what that means, we have a very important, very emotional problem that we don't know how to fix. And that's when your nervous system actually goes looking for, well, what is this like? How can I make sense of what's going on for me? And because you're interpreting this experience as something that I don't know what to do, I can't deal with this, it's not working, any of those kinds of stuckness phrases, your nervous system actually goes looking for, well, hang on a second, this is just like that time where I'm not enough, I'm a bad person, I'm not worthy. There's all of these kinds of triggers that will come up because what you've got going on in front of you is like an actual experience that mirrors previous experiences that you've had. And so that being the case, what we actually don't have the calm to share, right? Because the first thing that happens is when your child is tantruming, now it doesn't necessarily mean at the first moment of a tantrum, but what it will happen at some point in the tantrum. If you don't know how to deal with it, your nervous system goes looking for what is this like and finds a triggering moment. Now, some people would say, then we need to unpack your triggers, we need to unpack your baggage. And I don't agree with that approach, and here's why. If you were to go and unpack the trigger, so say for example, the trigger that comes up for you is that I am a bad parent because I cannot hold space for my child's tantrums. You unpack that fundamental belief that I am a bad person, like that worry, deep-seated worry that I am a bad person. You actually do the work to unpack that. It can be solved, right? People will tell you that you're stuck with the baggage forever. Not true. You can actually do that work. But when you do, if you come back, your child is tantruming again on another day, what happens then, right? Your nervous system will still go looking for another experience where you are stuck and you don't know how to handle it because you are stuck. You have a child that you care very much about who is in distress, and whatever you're doing isn't working, right? And so most of us have more than one trigger. And so if you solve the main one, number 2 will come up. If you solve number 2, number 3 will come up. And actually, if you solve all of them, the idea that we will resolve a trigger that is really not hardwired, it has been wired neurologically for us. If we're not careful to really embed the reverse experience that you are capable and you can do it, it's very easy for us to fall back into those patterns. So there's a difference between creating a new habit and actually having the old neurology actually weather away, like actually disintegrate and not be available to you when you're under stress, right? That takes a lot of work. What we actually need to do is have a plan that works. Now, if we think about like, what does sharing your calm mean? If you ask people who say this, like, what would share your calm mean, right? It's like, be the adult. It would be like, not say difficult things or blah, blah, blah. Like all the specific things that they say, what it comes down to is don't have feelings, right? Push your own feelings down. Prioritize your child's feelings, which I can agree with prioritize your child's feelings, but push your own feelings down and pretend like you don't have any triggers. That is extremely difficult to do. It is very, very hard for a human to push down those feelings. Now, most of us who are in a progressive style of parenting, so any kind of gentle parenting, conscious parenting, respectful parenting, all of those like kind of, the newer styles of parenting, most of us who are interested in that are the ones that have a relationship with our emotions it's very intense, right? And we're craving to be heard, we're craving for our own feelings to be validated. It is even harder for those of us to push those feelings down, and it's extremely difficult to do, and it's not necessary, right? So if you think about it, Your feelings are telling you this is important and I want to be able to do a good job. You can, right? Like, you don't have to push those feelings down, right? It's only when those feelings persist that we start getting into the space of, I can't do this, I'm not capable, my child is in distress and I'm not helping, this is horrible for my child. Those things all happen when we don't know what to do when the feelings first come up, right? When we don't know how to respond to the first lot of feelings, then the secondary feelings come up. So if we think again, what does share your calm look like? Sharing your calm is often purported as like, if you just stay calm with your tantruming child, then your tantruming child will feel better. I say no. So the only time a person who is overwhelmed by their feelings will choose a calm person is when the only other choice is a person who will punish them for their feelings, who will invalidate their feelings, who will leave them alone in their feelings, right? That's the only time a calm person is better. If you're overwhelmed with your feelings, what you want is someone who can help. Not someone who's just calm. And that's true of people of all ages, not just children. What we want is someone who can help. Our experience of people helping is either teaching us to not pay attention with our feelings. That's not really helping. We might have experience of people trying to help, but imposing their own views or imposing their own ideas of what a solution is, right? Also not helping. What we really want when we're overwhelmed, whether we're a child or an adult, we want someone to help us to make sense of what our feelings are telling us and to solve the root cause of the problem. That's what we really want. We'll choose a calm person if that's the best available option, but what we really want is help. That's what we really want. And so that's why you don't actually need to know how to stay calm when someone's in distress. What you need to know is how to help, right? Now, if we think about what does that look like, it's actually a skill set. We're not talking about just like a lot of the things. So you see a lot of gentle parenting recommendations. I'm right here. Well, if I'm upset about something, I'm only reassured by you saying I'm right here if I'm worried you're not going to be there, right? And we are worried that someone is not going to be with us because we have been left with our own feelings. We have been told our feelings are too much and that therefore the person is not going to stay with us in whatever capacity that might be, right? Our children very likely either haven't had that experience, or if they have had that experience in this very moment, they're not focused on whether or not you're going to stay with them. They're focused on what is the feeling, what is the root cause of the problem they've got, right? That's where we want to notice. And it happens, so much of our lenses of what our baggage is dictates what we think is reassuring to someone in a tantrum. And you see it so often when people say, when I speak when my child is tantruming, they don't like it. It's often because what we're saying is what we would want based on our baggage, not what we need for the feelings themselves. So another one, so the one I mentioned was I'm right here. Another one is it's okay to be angry. Well, again, who said it wasn't? Right? Like, who said it wasn't? That is totally reassuring. If you can see in your child that they are uncomfortable with being angry, by all means, that will be helpful. But if your child actually isn't questioning whether it's okay to be angry, then telling them it's okay to be angry feels like you're telling them it's okay for you to just have this unsolved problem and, you know, you should just be all right with that. You know, like, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel validating. So then I want to look at, so often people are told that if you don't have enough calm, you should meditate, you should go to yoga, you should fill your own cup. I only recommend these things in one very specific circumstance. Number one, if your life outside of parenting is causing you so much stress that you are on edge while you're parenting, right? That's the first condition. So if your job or career or business, if your relationship, if your physical health, your economic circumstances, whatever's going on outside of parenting is, and I know it's all intermixed, but like I'm looking at things that are starting outside of the parenting space. If that is causing you so much stress that you cannot even try to change your parenting, then that's one condition. The second condition is that we actually want to first start with, what if we made parenting the space where you know what to do, you feel competent and capable, and parenting is the space that feels regulating for you, right? If we've tried both of those things, so if both of those things are true, so A, you've got stress outside of parenting, and B, we've tried making parenting the safe haven for you, the emotionally regulated part of your life. If we've tried both of those things and it's still not working, then I recommend yoga, meditation, going for walks, and I'm not saying all of those things shouldn't be a priority. If they are your priority, that they are. Having said that, on their own, they're very unlikely to be the solution. I find they are the solution when we've tried both of those two things, and when both of those two things are true, then it can be worthwhile to look at more of those day-to-day regulation skills. And I just want to say, it's really possible for parenting to be the lowest stress place of your life. It is for me. It absolutely is possible for parenting, and that's not to say that I am, finished on my learning journey as becoming a more evolved parent, but parenting is the space where I feel I can see consistent progress on my part. I know how to identify the progress I want to make and how to take the steps to get there. And I know what to do. Like, I feel this is the place where I feel most regulated, most capable, and most competent. And that can be true for you too. So we don't, just because there's stress in the rest of your life doesn't mean that parenting in and of itself needs to be stressful. It can be your safe haven. It can be the place where everything else is hard, but parenting is the one place where everything is going well. So this all being the case, if you are finding that you don't have calm to share, what I'm saying is the number one place to start is with your skills at actively helping your child to regulate from a tantrum. And if that's something that you are understanding based on this video, you're like, yep, that's me, that's where I'm at, then grab my webinar, Supporting Kids Through Tantrums. You can get it at jodiethornton.com/tantrums. And in that webinar, I take you through, what do you do? So your child is losing their cool. What is it that you need to do to actively help them to regulate down from a tantrum, and go from there. So if you have any questions at all about this video, please do reach out, and I will see you next time.